Lotus is back, and a lot has changed since we've last visited this mysterious temple. That means new agents have risen to the top of the food chain, but with Lotus back, its throne is up for grabs. Anything goes in this rat race to the crown of Lotus's new meta. But what is this? Wait, huh? M80 ran triple Sentinels in a match that could determine whether or not they make it to franchising? Okay, but how did it do? It got destroyed on defense, but came back and smurfed on attack? And that's what I love about Valorant. With more and more agents coming out, the more and more creative and customizable team comps can become. Similar to how Opera GX allows you to completely customize your browser just the way you like it. With the world's best gaming browser, you can mix and match your favorite mods and features to create a truly one-of-a-kind experience. I've downloaded a couple Valorant themes and some calming rain background noise for when I'm scripting, and I'm already in love with this browser. Just look at all the different features they offer. Also, you might not know this, but your run-of-the-mill browsers are tanking your FPS. But GX Control lets you limit how much CPU and RAM Opera GX is allowed to use. Then you can avoid lag and FPS drops while keeping your favorite tabs or streams running in the background. But best of all is that Opera GX now brings ChatGPT right to your fingertips. With a quick sidebar access, ChatGPT is literally right there for you to ask anything. Summarize agent guides, come up with content ideas, or tips for new maps that are coming out. Save yourself time and boost productivity just by using ChatGPT. Had M80 asked ChatGPT how to win on Lotus, they probably wouldn't have lost their defensive half so bad. So what are you waiting for? You have all this customizability, you can save yourself some FPS, have access to AI, and it's all free. So go ahead and click my link down in the description to get access to the world's best gaming browser, and thank you Opera GX for sponsoring this video. The worst part is, I don't even hate it. I actually love M80's comp. Running lineups like this can give teams major headaches as it's something they've probably never seen. The only reason we don't is because kooky comps get anti-stratted really hard, as they're usually missing something that a well-rounded comp would have. Like M80 doesn't have flashes, so you can hold smokes way safer. Then teams abuse that weakness, there goes all your prep and hard work, and you end up running something boring and run-of-the-mill. But the thing is, I don't think M80's comp has that many weaknesses. If executed well, I think it can stomp this standard snoozefest squad. On pistol, the defense are set up in a 2-3. Deadlock's going to spot mound, and if she gets pushed off, this hidden spy cam can be popped at any time for mid-round info. B is... empty? Wait, this sensor and trip are for... retake? Oh god, don't tell me this team is playing retake. I mean, at least it looks like they're fighting for rubble with these three. Teets, snap out of it! M80 have triple Sentinels. They'll be fine. Relax! Jimmy, you have no idea how stupid you sound right now. Round 1 opens up with an exchange of utility. A haunted smoke for a slow orb. Sage, they know no one's out. What's the point of shooting it? And... wait, why isn't anyone moving up? We're just going to sit on site? Okay, well, Oxygen move up and past Root. Their plan? Take a main, snag a free orb, push the Sentinels back, and have Brimstone. Why are you here? Okay, well, he's holding B and C. Oxygen take the space, Deadlock grabs an ult point, and M80 brace for impact behind their own dark cover. The 3-stack is already here, but the offense want to apply even more pressure by tapping the door, and Mitch breaks open Secret. He sends a Prowler through, which drags over both Omen and Deadlock to B. Now, here's where this comp sucks. The only information that these 5 have is this little camera. And Fade isn't the greatest for clearing out A. Or they could jump spot, but both chokes are smoked. So they have no way of finding out what's really going on. And now the offense have backed out of A and are headed back through spawn and towards C. But M80 are really biting on this A pressure because Nismo just tossed his wall to block Secret. The offense aren't going B, so the defense shift towards A. Xander jump spots and sees nothing, but net spy cam has been snapped. Oxygen pounce on this opportunity to take C for free. Taking site against this comp should not be this easy. But Teets, M80 wanted to play retake. Isn't this round going all according to their plan? Jimmy, what are these guys going to retake with? A slow orb? Plus, half the defense are trapped behind this barrier mesh Dapper tossed on his way in. Dealing with this on pistol is impossible.
Yeah, rushing into site, they've been able to monitor where everybody is, at least so far, but the C site being empty gives way for M80 to try to get some sort of retake. Yeah, already going down. Redux good for the 2. And everybody else on Oxygen, they just cleaned this up. It's an impeccable first round.
M80 cannot give up sight like that. Playing retake with these 5 might be the worst thing that they could do. If the defense want this comp to work, they need to have someone else take the space and then trust in their sight holds. Once M80 give up map control, there is no getting it back. M80 are about to learn the hard way why they can't just sit on their asses and play off their setups. Teets, you gotta be kidding me. You're telling me that pushing into this is easy? Well, it's not that it's easy, it's that you're putting all of your eggs into one basket. The defense are basically saying that if these 2 can't hold it down, they lose the round. There is no retaking, especially if Redux doesn't have to use his nade early because M80 aren't contesting anything and saves it for the execute, then this is going to happen. See the issue? Now let's say that the defenders play up and get Omen or even Sage up on Rubble. Then their teammates can effectively stack the rest of the map and their setups actually become impenetrable. But they're not. In M80's 2-1-2, they're kinda fighting for Mound? On Lotus, you need more than that to brawl, especially because they're contesting 4 attackers. Round 3 opens up with an exchange of smokes. Brim covers Rubble, threatening that someone can cross. Scuba smokes under Xander's and Koala's one way, and Slow Orb allowing them to come out, and Mitch hunts high above Mound, scanning Xander. But he's not afraid. He runs out and sprays into the clouds. But Oxygen retreat. Scuba's made it out to Rubble safely. This has to be M80's weak side if they're fighting Mound. Mitch even breaks a Prowler for added pressure and eventually sends one back in response. Now, M80 are M86'd. The offense can literally be anywhere. Their decision? Walk and contact all the way through A main and just dump all the utility they've saved for this hit. But at the last second, Oxygen threatened to split B with their Fade's positioning. So, Secret gets broken, and now the offense can pivot. A or B. The Triple Sentinels are confused and panicked. Koalanu prepares by walling off Mitch, but the offense decide to walk right into Secret.
Koala has actually walled off Mitch, and this leads for opportunity, right? Mitch now making noise and showing that there might be an execution leading into here. Perfect, though. Already smoke comes up, and it does leave them with absolutely nothing to work with. Now with BCJ especially being caught in that ult.
Perfect from Dapper. Immediately, the value of finding all those kills on the previous round found a BCJ. What a timing.
Dude, huge eruption, too, because now Koala Noob just really reels that back in. So now you got that possible one round. That does lead way, though. They still do have that post plant. So the opportunity here, big off Scuba. Wall. It's really going to do much, actually. Smoke, sorry. Xander, yeah, just spraying down. Scuba had absolutely nothing to do there. Instead, saving the Vandal.
M80 basically just won the lottery. Dapper managed to snag BCJ with his annihilation, but at the last possible second, Koalanoop shot him free, and he landed right behind 2 unsuspecting attackers. I mean, how else were M80 going to retake? They had no flashes to come out of this heaven smoke, and Omen would have kept refreshing it. Plus, there was a stun sensor. The defense also couldn't get through Secret. It was about to be a jumbo crossfire. I really hope M80 don't feel a sense of security after this round. They got lucky and are going to need map control to win this half. I think M80 heard me. These 3 are pushed up against the barrier and are taking Rubble. Omen gets posted, these 2 leave. And now before our spooky ghost friend got his balls chopped off in that recent nerf, he could hold this one way, and it'd be really hard for the offense to get past it without a solid drone or flashes. So here, Omen should feel safe to hold this on his own. Now the offense understand that getting out to Root shouldn't be easy. So they're again starting in a 1-3-1 and plan on looping through B to pinch Mound. The round opens up with another smoke and slow orb to... Wait. Why didn't he do the one-way? Okay, well at least M80 have A. In the meantime, Brim has activated the turbo boost and has his team sliding up and through B main behind a Prowler and Satchel Peak from Raze. Her team has successfully secured these 2/3 of the map in just about 10 seconds. And now, what have M80 done in the meantime? Sage, why are you here? Leave Omen alone! Now, I get it, without Viper's toxic screen, Omen can't really safely teleport away if he takes contact, but then, why not use Sage? Her slow orbs and wall are perfect for making clean escapes, or at least buying time for rotates to come in. She even has like 30 different walls that she can use to counter this Brim smoke that the offense keep throwing. Whatever M80 want to do, they don't need these 2 people here. Leave Sage. Have these guys lean between the other two sites. It doesn't matter what team comp you're running, these are just Lotus fundamentals. Rubble control is king. Eventually the defense leave Omen to himself, but in the meantime, the attackers have pre-fired some trips, broke BCJ's Prowler, and the defense are scrambling. Cypher and Deadlock cannot hold the site by themselves.
Just watching in the cam will have an opportunity to anchor off a lot of utility.
Oh, that's huge, though. They did try their absolute best to really reel that back in, but no, it doesn't work out. The Deadlock, the grab net not necessarily catching anybody off guard, but yeah, unfortunate.
Redux didn't even use his paint shells. Oh boy. Now, had Nismo's grab net hit, maybe net gets his, but you can't just rely on a bunch of shit to get you free kills. Stun sensors are mid, and you're playing against arrays and fade on sites that are naturally close-quartered. Trips won't work well either. Now, because the defense can't retake, like ever, especially against another Deadlock, they're forced to save. Okay, M80 didn't hear me.
That sign can't stop me because I can't read.
They've swapped their setup so that these three are faking A pressure, but then are just chilling on site while these two do the same. It's gonna be a long fucking day. Oxygen don't know it, but their 1-4 default is useless. M80 are giving them each A, B, and C main. I mean, I guess the offense don't want to run into the 3-stack, but they could execute anywhere and completely overrun the defense. The offense kicked things off by defaulting each extremity. A dark cover followed by a haunt and prowler to leak into mound, and a brimsmoke to sneak past root and into rubble. And now the defense just do a lot of hootin' and hollerin'. Sage launched a slow orb, took some pot shots, and Fade hit the switch to make it seem like someone made it out this far and is watching their smoke. But nope, Oxygen just walk right through. Fade actually hits the door a second time, and the offense just stare at it while Mitch single-handedly takes the other 2/3 of the map. You can't give up all this free real estate. The rest of Fade's pack smoke stairs and the jump spot, denying the defense of gathering any free info. And once again, just walk all the way up A. They feed Deadlock again, but wait, why not Brim? I feel like you could trap someone real good with his orbital strike. Regardless, she breaks down Secret, and just like round 3, the offense can go anywhere. Their decision is to regroup with their Fade over on C, but as they're leaving, BCJ rips another Prowler through main, tagging no one. Now both teams are headed towards C, which features 2 stun sensors and soon to be a 3-stack.
See quite quickly, they have the read on this. They are stacked up and ready.
Oh, that's gonna work out so well too. Now with the lineup settled, but Redux can't seem to find exit off that. All right, they do manage to make themselves go and make some way, but unfortunately...
Wow. Who would have thought that even with all of this, the defense wouldn't want to play on site? Normally, I would suggest playing retake against a showstopper, but with this comp, one of these 3 should have just taken one for the team. Now, despite being down a player, M80 still have a few tricks up their sleeve. 1. Time is running low. And 2, with Omen's Paranoia and a semi-full Fade kit, the defense may be able to retake quick while Oxygen are forced to plant. But is this going to be enough?
Yeah, that ultimate not going to work out the way that was planned originally, but Oxygen, they're just better with the fights, regardless of what's going on. Luckily enough for Koala Noob, he does manage to convert that, but it's not enough for this team. I mean, would it be Resurrection available? And now that 2v3 becomes that 4v2. Luckily enough, does work out for quite some time playing that partnership role, but Scuba, no Paranoia available, and so many players low. Honestly, they just hit the shots, they pretty much receive it! And now a 1v1, they do have sight. And this could work out perfectly for them.
The first half of M80's retake wasn't bad. Omen's Paranoia was just enough to get his team back onto site, and this res made it a 4 versus 2. But getting through this second smoke was where things fell apart. See, BCJ and Koala Noob isolated Elbow with a seize and then barrier to block off anyone playing under. But because there wasn't a flash or dog or anything to shake Verno's crosshair, just look at the damage he did. Then because BCJ didn't feel confident enough to wrap underneath, Scuba was able to isolate each remaining defender 1-on-1-on-1 with the help of this Sage Wall. I told you, this comp can't retake. M80 take a timeout to stop the early bleeding. Oh, Oxygen, we have a present for you. What the? Wasn't Christmas a month ago? Who cares? What's inside? What the? Every site on Lotus? Why? It's the season of giving! Coming out of the timeout, M80 have a new plan for the Rico. Stack C. If the offense dodge these 4, half of them are flanking, while the other 2 rotate and contain. And now, retaking through your standard lanes isn't enough for this noodle-armed comp, but Oxygen don't have a flank watch, meaning that pushing through an extra avenue and retaking through an extra choke might just work. Now, while they do that, Omen's going to try and get his with his judge in tree, which he might do. The offense have realized that A's been pretty free. The whole map has been, so they're picking up the pace. Round 6 opens up with a high haunt, satchel, and teleport from Omen, expecting some A aggression. Brim has capped off their aiming control with the smoke. Deadlock taps the door and spams the tree. A Prowler follows suit to clear it out. A Secret gets broken, and a Boombot gets sent through. And now Oxygen have done a lot of pressure making in these first 30-ish seconds. Completely uncontested, mind you. So what have M80 done? Well, Sage and Cypher are on their way to reinforce Omen, while Deadlock and Fade have pushed down Mound and have set up in a high-low. Hey, do you think they're going to re-clear us? Not anymore, they won't. Nismo has laid out his barrier mesh so that in case the offense does come back, they'll be focused on the wall and not them. But Oxygen aren't. They're waiting for the defense to peek out for information, but no one's budging. Especially because these 2 have made it through Mound. It has to be either B or A. The attackers elect the earlier by smoking off stairs and walling off main to ensure a safe passage into Secret. But because of this late Prowler, door press, and paranoia, the defense are forced to gamble A. The defense have lost their bet as Oxygen funnel into B, but did they really lose? Because Fade and Deadlock have found a timing.
Definitely not feeling too good looking at this scoreline.
Oxygen thought they secured site by laying out a grav net, 2 Brim smokes, 2 stun sensors, and a haunt for Brim to pinch main. But they never considered the B flank. BCJ then invests his Nightfall to deafen the offense as his teammates try and retake. This is cancelled by Redux's nade, but they never saw Nismo.
And they do somewhat convert this back. I mean, regardless, yeah, the weapons are going to win out every single fight, every single time, but the ultimate settled down just to secure this round is interesting. It's because we kind of don't need it at the moment. I feel like M80 are still pushed into a very, very unfortunate position right now.
Oxygen didn't expect the first flank. Or second.
Surprise, motherfucker.
And now on A, Scuba stayed back to hold the secret entrance, and all Xander had was a judge. So he was forced to teleport across and tried blinding for his Deadlock, which baited over Scuba to run him down. Baited.
In the game, but now Nismo looking to convert.
Now with a Vandal and smoke to cover the spike, this is winnable.
This might be the time where we get to see some sort of reversal. Unfortunate timing, putting out the smoke in the middle.
Last round should have been a source of inspiration for M80. Yeah, their comp sucks at retaking, but you need to be proactive on Lotus and cannot rely on site setups, even with 3 Sentinels. I mean, M80 almost won last round with horrible guns. So, how do they adjust? Pretty well. There's 4 players ready to spring out and capture rebel control and run over this lone Fade. Oxygen are focusing on Mound, so this should be a free win for M80.
Swarmed from all angles, so they just nullify one of them by taking the fight to M80.
They all just stare at this Brim smoke like a pair of jingling keys, while the offense burst out of their lurk smoke and are headed straight for Cypher. And a singular trip?
Grab that. Not really going to cause too much of an issue, but down in the backhand side, it's Net that's getting ready and prepared to maybe take the round back, but there's so much being thrown, so now they do really have to leave the site, dude. It's like war.
Why are we not rotating after taking Rubble? Within the first 5 seconds, Rubble should have been M80's. Like, just use a Haunt and a Slow Orb. That would give them an extra 10 seconds to come over and help. I mean, I guess Fade was here, but don't we have, like, cross-map Slow Orbs? Or we don't use our Omen ult? The instant rotate tool? Anything! Oh my god, there's so much video left. Deadlock loses a raw aim tool, and these 2 are forced to... Wait. We bought it up, and we're not posting up on A or C. We just stared at a Brim smoke! M80 just don't get it. The typical Lotus comp has Viper playing on C for one big reason: to stall. She's one of the few agents who can buy enough time for these A players to rotate over in case of a C rush. So, look at M80's comp and tell me, class, who can stall just as well as Viper? Sage! Deadlock! Sage! Deadlock! Both solid answers. Either a slow orb or a barrier mesh combined with a smoke, which makes it really annoying to break, can do the same job that Viper can. So what's wrong with M80 setup here? Well, they're trying to fight both sides at the same time instead of having one strong brawling side. Fight A, stall C. This simple, solid game plan has withstood the test of time. But instead, this half-baked shit happened.
Yeah, I totally agree. This haunt is going to come up early. It will be broken right away. Oxygen are fighting for this.
Oh, and they're all the way around the back, but a matey try. They do not succeed. Oh, man. Either way, all right, picks coming through. There's not too much of a win condition here for Oxygen. In terms of the player advantage, maybe the op might prove to be caused an issue, but yeah, Nismo's holding down on site, and that does leave a slight rotation over to Oxygen. On Spike, how well will that work? The only thing we really do have is maybe Verna with a lineup coming through here. Yep, and that's going to be settled. That does have to back themselves off, but some damage made. And Koala with the op. Yeah, not going to work. The time, not there. And they do have to run away before it's too late, but still trying to make way. Koala might have just saved the day there with only 0.9 seconds left.
Now, despite my constant bitching, M80 did win this round because they successfully stuffed this execute. The offense wanted to pinch C from spawn with Scuba's ult, but I think he took too long, and he should have just ran in so Nismo couldn't line up his Gravnet and then ult. Regardless, M80 want to continue the small amount of momentum they've gained from this last round and are forcing. Koala's tossed the op to Xander, who can hopefully get more value out of it than this round after round. But it seems like they're in the same setup, while Oxygen are slamming C after realizing it's been pretty easy round after round. But maybe the op can stop them?
Number 5.
I don't get it. M80 know that Oxygen keep throwing these smokes, so why did they even buy the op in the first place if it keeps getting denied? On the bright side, look at how deep Koala's gotten on A. This is what I was talking about. Awesome. Fade's leaving, and now it's just up to these two to stall long enough.
You know, especially with Xander packing with the op. And how well could that work out? Does back off, leaving net to their lonesome to really defend the site here, but knowing that Redux is just gonna go in. It does not work the way that's planned. This is scary too, because now the ultimate's settled down and Nismo manages to find a way out.
How come when Xander got pushed off mound, he didn't go to elbow to prep his paranoia? These extra seconds would have been all his teammates need to rotate and help since they finally have taken rubble. But Oxygen did a great job at countering the op they just saw last round. A Prowler, which got shot by someone else, a jump spot, and finally Boombot. The defense just got run over, and Deadlock's annihilation discouraged M80 from retaking early. Now the only glimmer of hope for the defenders is that they still have Xander's paranoia. It got them back on the site last time. Can they do it again?
Find a way out, but I don't think it's gonna last for long. Just settled in smoke somehow, not dying yet. They're good for now.
Someone make it make sense. How has Dapper had average 1 annihilation every 3 rounds?
He's just rolling with the punches, dude. Oh my gosh. And it's not even working. Everybody's already on site. They're just 50-50 right now, fighting for some sort of control. Right here. It just works out in a way where Oxygen, they just win every single fight. Scuba settled behind, nobody peeking or clearing their corners. That's up to Nismo. Of course, we've seen clutches before from this team of M80, but it's not going to happen again.
Yeah, this comp can't retake. Who knew? Even if they get past the initial smoke, there's another to lock them back out. Pile on a barrier mesh and stun sensor, and it's no surprise Scuba had more than enough time to come in for the backstab. Whose job, by the way, was to prevent another backstab from happening, like on the Eco. So, are Oxygen countering this comp and adjusting really well? Or does M80's game plan suck eggs? M80 are all out of options. Sitting on site doesn't work, and retaking clearly doesn't either, but 7 of these 11 rounds have ended C. They gotta stop the offense from slamming the site. So what's their answer? More fucking trips. Every sensor and trapwire that the defense owns is now on C, and they have 3 players starting on B, and they've completely given up on rubble control. Sage would rather sit here and randomly spam her Odin at the smoke. Like, what? Oxygen's comp might be weird, but at least their fundamentals are there. Their 4-1 default is starting C, but might end A if Scuba doesn't feel too much pressure. The round opens up with an immediate high haunt from Mitch and a Prowler up B main shortly after. The haunt doesn't get shot, but the Prowler does. So for the first time this game, someone's playing front B. This has both teams shook. In Oxygen's mind, this is something new. Maybe a C pinch is coming through the door to finally punish this constant bombardment of C hits. And in M80's mind, the offense was doing circles around these 2/3 of the map. In the end, the defense figured that this ain't worth it, as the offense start to shift back towards A, and the defense back off B. And now, the map's gotten quiet, meaning A could be a possibility. So Koala Noob takes this main smoke as a signal to rip his Odin, but it's not hitting anything. That's just not how you play around an Odin. If you want to know how, watch this video. There's some nuts lineups on this map. But Sage just backed off onto A, and once again, the offense can group up and utility bomb whichever site they please. With Brim and Deadlock on B, 3 on A, they're going to apply major pressure on the later and pivot quick back into B. Brim smoke site, Fade Prowlers, and Omen smoke stairs, and off they go.
Broken door. Everybody's just trying to find a way in, and Redux just forces it out of the way. It's the same thing it's always been, right? Just apply that pressure.
Behind an on-the-fly satchel and Brim Molly, the site belongs to Oxygen. Pile on a couple stun sensors, and how are these 4 getting back out? Omen has refreshed Brim's Heaven Smoke, and as long as these 2 can't come out from it, the Waterfall players are going to get obliterated by crossfires. Are they just going to run out?
Redux is moving in, and M80, they just don't want to hold the site. They constantly leave it down to the retake, and that's where Oxygen seems to thrive. Yeah, that's...
Absolutely. I mean, also just Redux so impressive on the entries right now.
Pretty much. All he has to do is hold it. He hits the shots every single time. Very, very comfortable on the race, for sure. But that being said, they're not looking to move in anytime soon. Now, finally, double the shot, and Mitch just not cleared up by M80. They're making so many minuscule mistakes. I feel like majority of it, I guess, is the lack of comfort, right, with playing with this sort of composition.
Now, if you think that I'm blowing smoke out of my ass and don't know what I'm talking about with this rebel control, let me show you what that looks like. It took M80 12 rounds to start doing this, but hey, better late than never. In their 1-1-3, they're brawling for the space right into 4 Oxygen players. The defense charge forward behind their slow orb, and the offense are taken back. Rebel has been free all game, but on the last round of the half, it isn't. The offense retreat, not wanting to run into multiple defenders, but Brim lays down a smoke before he leaves, but Nismo responds with his barrier mesh. Oxygen hear this, and don't want the defense not to have to worry about A. So they slowly double back, do some investigating, and spray down the wall. But before they can, Nismo nets. It stalls the offense, but not for long. And now because so much time has been burnt off the clock, like a triple Sentinel comp should, Oxygen have no interest in going C anymore. The Fade's gotten them this space, but now the offense want to make the defense think that they've left A and that they've done their job, so Fade's making noise on C all by herself. But M80 are thinking, if there's a ton of people breaking this wall, there can't be that many on Mound.
Just to, like, at least lure out some sort of 1v1.
This coordinated proactiveness has given Cypher a body to activate his neural theft. M80 know it's A, but Deadlock needs help, so Omen takes to the skies.
A lot of value. Xander's going to teleport immediately to this site if one gets caught with the Annihilation, but no, it's a miss! What is happening right now? Redux?
Yeah, Redux's Phantom jammed or something, but this proactiveness from the defense, the not sitting around, and taking map control to gain information is what M80 gave them this crucial round to their comeback. And they did come back, and forced overtime. But how? Well, this video is already too long, and I want to work on other breakdowns. But just know that most of these rounds that Oxygen lost are very similar to this one. Despite having almost no firepower, the offense's game plan is pretty solid. Their attack is noodle-armed, and they're going to play keep away from the defense. If Oxygen are fighting in one spot, run away and go the other, and they're 1-4. And now because Oxygen don't have an info sentinel, they need to fight for something. But I don't know which side they are exactly in their 2-1-2. Maybe because their opposition doesn't have a duelist, they think they can be more spread out? I mean, that's not a bad idea. Both teams open the second half off with an exchange of smokes. Brim one-ways and controls Mound, allowing Deadlock to safely contest this haunt, while Scuba one-ways Root, and Xander smokes, similar to Oxygen's in the first half. But from B, Mitch has lobbed a haunt, peering down into A, snuffing out the Slurk smoke, and allowing Scuba to take Rubble. Wait, where the fuck are you going? You can't believe it! Both fucking teams don't know how to take Rubble! Why? If you're playing Lotus, please take Rubble. And now, because BCJ's haunt got popped on C, M80 don't feel like they have the kits to get past this one way and contest these two, so they leave. With Cypher's cam spotting front B, he's staying here in case his team has to come back. They, in the meantime, use the smoke and Prowler to leak out past Rubble because Oxygen never took it. Notice that secret is broken, and then they leave. The offense, just like last half, have felt like they've made enough pressure on A and start to turn back towards C. And M80 would be right. This pressure has dragged over Brimstone and has forced Scuba to smoke whatever the fuck that is. But as they turn the corner, the offense spot Deadlock jump spotting, which forces her to burn her barrier mesh. Yeah, breaking that would take longer than Riot adding a replay system. So the offense pivots to B, but leave Fade on C to blast at the barrier mesh, which has dragged over the attention of two defenders. Just, do you see how messed up rotates are without Rubble control? None of Oxygen are in comfortable positions, and the triple Sentinel comp somehow waltzed into an open B site. Now, the defense are going to have the same problem as M80 did last half. Sure, the defenders have Raze, which adds a little more firepower, but how are you meant to retake against a Sage Wall, Barrier Mesh, and Stun Sensor all on pistol round?
30 seconds
Seems
left.
to be the way, man, and the smoke comes in right when Mitch decides to take some way out, and the Gravnet now making some issue. So they have this pretty flawlessly. M80 good for the taking. Now we do get to see that Sage Wall in action, though.
Yeah, and this is where retaking will now be a nightmare for the Oxygen side. Wasting time breaking walls, running into sonic sensors. Not going to be fun.
Oh, but they're prepped so well, and that's gotta hurt so much damage, but they still don't do anything about it. It's like every shot needs to connect, and we've seen it before. This time, I mean, I guess luck isn't necessarily...
You don't! You know, maybe Oxygen could have won with a better placed Gravnet paint shells, but the rest of the team had to funnel through one choke point and around this awkward Sage Wall, and M80 never had to worry about Heaven. Anyways, this is what happened the rest of the half, and the game went to overtime. This comp, it can work, just like the Zero Initiator abomination that Foot ran. Remember this thing? I mean, it worked pretty well, too.
Pull them to their grave.